I've been waiting some time to make this video, and I think some of you have been waiting for me to make it too, but we are building a bike again, and it feels like it's been ages since we've done that. So today's video is going to be all about building potentially the best pub bike you'll ever see. It's a pretty big statement to say straight away from the start of the video, but I think I've nailed it. Now, I've said this a bunch recently, but I believe this year is the year of the step through. Back in January, February, when we did the cheap bike build off, there was 2 step through builds there, and when that happened, me and Toasty Ride started talking about it a bit and was saying the fact that like we really wanted to build step throughs, and then it snowballed since then. A load of you have been sending me your step through builds, and it's about time I did one. Been looking for a while to find the right step through. I just didn't want to get like a step through frame, and then Gaz, or Gray's Bike Shed, this dude here, he mentioned he had one which was a Diamondback. This is, I'll put the photo of his build up there, which is very similar to what I did as well. So I've been sitting on it for a couple of months. I kind of knew exactly what I was going to build, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So I found the time this week, pulled all the parts together, and redid one of the most popular videos on my channel, which is a pub bike build. Now, what is a pub bike? Essentially, a pub bike is a very simple bike that you can go and take to the pub, and essentially, if it gets nicked, it doesn't really matter. It can be left out in the rain, it can just be trucked around. It's parts bin type build, and it's, you know, it's throwaway-able. Is that a word? In my mind, a pub bike also has some sort of rack for carrying crates of beers, big and comfortable, and you could probably sit in it all day, ride it round to different pubs and sit in pub gardens. So that's the build we're going for, and I'm not going to waffle on anymore because who cares? And let's try and let's go and build it. Right then, let's do this. So it's a Diamondback Windwood, or at least I think that's what it says, because you can't really make it out, but I think it's Windwood. It's got oversized tubing, which basically means it's cheap metal. It's the chainstay sticker bit is, for whatever reason, perfect still, nearly. And it's got a very, very cool warning sticker, which makes me want to redo our warning sticker with more words. And then a very nice pressed head tube badge. And then a matching fork, which is also massive, oversized tubing. But yeah. I didn't really have to do a lot of cleaning on the build because it came from another builder, so it already had a bit of cleaning and polishing anyway at some point. And I didn't want to overdo it on this build because, again, it is a pub bike. But I did get the seat post in because some of you were getting very upset about me clamping the frame, and then give it a good old rub down with a microfiber cloth and some juice lubes, just some cleaning spray, just to kind of get some of just the general dirt off it. But yeah, that was it. It didn't really take a lot at all. This is one of those classic moments of do what I say and not as I do, because this was a BB that I had knocking around. It was the right size, and I was like, you know what, this has a bit of life left in it, it'll be fine. And I proceeded to put it inside the bike. I then managed to bust the threads in the BB in the process, and then screw the build. Luckily, I've actually made very good friends with a local frame builder, and I decided to just roll up and beg him to help me retap the threads. Is there a secret to doing this?
Not really. You just got to take it sort of steady, basically. It is quite easy. It's quite easy to fuck it up. You can kind of feel if you're about to totally destroy something. But what sucks the most with this is these tools do not last forever.
Oh really?
they blunt in the same way as anything else with an edge.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of, especially if you're using them all the time or a lot, you have to make sure you're keeping up with getting them recoated, or you know, because as soon as they blunt or they get little chips in the tool, you can run it in, tap gets stuck, and then it's and you have to just have a bad day.
Well, thanks to Sam, I'm not having a bad day now because we have it tapped again, and we even have a BB. This is a UN55 that Sam had. These are apparently very rare now. They don't make them anymore, and this was a Shimano BB that was very, very desirable at one point. So I'm very lucky to have it in my bike. But it is, spoiler alert, slightly wrong length, so it will be coming out, and I'll either give it back to Sam or maybe put it in something else. We'll see. But a massive shout out to Stayer Cycles for helping me out here and helping us continue with the build. I'll link their website down below because it is, you need to go and check them out, share some love, maybe even just go follow them on Instagram at least. So the last thing that I needed to confirm was the fact that all the bearings and headset stuff that Gaz sent in the package were all correct and was all there. Not that I doubted him in any way, but they could have got lost in mail and all that sort of stuff. So I had to fit that all together. It was all there, it all went in nicely. He actually put it all in a little bag and sellotaped it to the frame, so it was all kept safe. So I didn't doubt you, I just needed to check. These are the wheels that I'm going to be using for the build. Currently have these tyres on them, which are going to change, and this very crusty freewheel that has definitely seen better days. Luckily, I put it on here, and then these wheels have been right at the back of a shed, not even in the shed, next to the shed, because I didn't think I was going to use them for a while, and I screwed them. Luckily, it came off, but yeah, should have looked after these wheels a bit better. So I stripped both the wheels down, took the tyres off, and then give them a good old rinsing because they have some spider webs on there, some leaves and things like that. It's just general dirt and grime. And then it's time to pop on some tyres. And we are using the Boost Light. If you follow the channel, you may know this already, but I've had these tyres knocking around for maybe a year, 2 years, probably potentially longer. Keep putting them on bikes, then go, nah, and then they don't continue being on the bikes. And I just put them back in the shed, so it's time for them to get a home. Every now and then you get one of those tyres that doesn't really want to go on the rim. These are those kind of tyres. I think potentially because they're brand new, they've been unfolded in the shed for a long time. They're kind of flat, so they didn't hook in very well. But you can tell how hard that was because I took my jacket off halfway through. If you're not bouncing your tyres once you finish pumping them up, did you even really pump them up? But at this point, I didn't know for sure if this would fit in the bike. Another reason I don't use these tyres on other fields is they don't fit on anything, they're quite wide. But I know that Gaz has these tyres and he put them on this bike, so I was pretty confident it'd fit. And yes, they fit. Right then, cool, now that one's on, well, it needs a friend. Perfect. Now the cranks that I'm going to use on this bike are these specialised cranks. I don't know what year or model they are. They're a bit battered up, but they look really nice. The chainring, however, needs to be purple. I feel like it needs to be purple in the middle, so I need to find one of those, but I don't know where one is. At the beginning of the day, before I started this build, me and my wife actually talked about potentially getting a gazebo for when I build outside because of the rain. But because it wasn't forecasted rain at all this day, I didn't bother. And it rained on and off all day. That's it. I'm just had to say it out loud. Well, whilst it was raining, I went through a lot of stock and found this chainring and some matching bolts, to be honest. Previously it had 3 or 4 different bolts, so this is exactly what I had in my head as purple chainring, and like, it's not the same purple, but gosh, it does look much better. It is a 34, I believe, which is a shame because I wanted a 38 because that's my chainring size. I like 38s. With the type of dropouts this bike has, I am going to use a chain tensioner as well. This one is purple as well, and I believe Dave.bike gave me this when he sent me loads of stuff a year or 2 ago, long time ago now. I think it was part of that. So thanks, Dave. This chunky 14 tooth freewheel should help me with my 34 tooth. Sounds nice as well. 34 tooth chainring on the front, and even it out, and it should be right. I'm not the best person to talk to about gear ratios and things like that. I know for a fact I like a 38 and a 16, and a 34 and 14 is very similar, I think, so this should be fine. But I am just doing whatever feels right, and often that is what is the correct answer to most people. When I put the chain on, it didn't feel like it was stretching either way too much as far as chain line goes. Later on I did discover it does drop off when you put too much pressure in or power in, so the BB does need to be slightly shorter. I believe this is a 107. I'm going to get a 104 or a 3, and I think that'll solve it. Okay, then on to some fun stuff. So we're getting up to the headset now. I'm using a stem adapter. This stem is big and ugly and a bit busted up, so I'm going to change it for something a little bit cooler. I believe this came from Diamondback as well. Just, you know, throw that out there. When I say ugly, I mean good ugly. It'll make a bike very happy one day, I'm sure, but we're not going to use that one. We're going to use this. I was given this by Gravy at the group rides back in May. Gravy is the guy who did this during our skidding competition, and he handed me this at the beginning of the group ride, which is a very nice CNC milled stem. I couldn't even say it then. It's very, very nice, and I think it suits this bike very, very well. Thank you, dude. Being slammed down to the bottom like that looks kind of pants, so I like to put some spacers through it. The spacers don't fit very well. You kind of have to like snug it and then bolt it, and then they kind of stay, but they look much nicer like this. I suppose at this point you're wondering, whoa, so what sort of handlebars are you going to put on there? Are you going to put a basket on there as well? Like, what are you thinking? And the answer is yes. I can't remember who posted it first, but somebody on my Instagram said, check out these ridiculous handlebars, and it snowballed from there. Loads of UK builders have them. Some of them have put them on bikes, some of them haven't. I believe actually I've said Dave.bike several times in this video now. Dave.bike has just put some on his bike, and yeah, they're finally getting used. But I think they were like £12, £15 on bankrupt bike parts. And yeah, we all bought them basically. To answer the question, what are they like? They feel very similar to a Lime bike if you've ever ridden one of those. The bars point nearly towards you instead of swept outright. So yeah, very similar to a Lime bike, which is very comfortable to be fair, you know. I'm very lucky to have a lot of bikes sent to me to review and test out and stuff, and more often than not there's spare pedals or pedals just chucked in the box and stuff, so I've got loads of pedals just knocking about. These ones in particular look quite nice. The bearings aren't great, but I figured I'd put them on. For the actual brakes themselves, this is a pub bike. We need to be able to stop. We need to be able to stop quickly. So we're using some Shimano V-brakes. These V-brakes are the best V-brakes I've ever used. I don't know the number. I can never remember the number. It's like MT something. If you Google Shimano V-brakes, I'm pretty sure these are the ones you'll find. I rate them. They're sick. this is a good opportunity as ever to mention the fact that we have the shiniest stickers to land on the Save Old Bike store ever. These are the Pixie Dust variations, and they are kind of rainbow glitter goodness. There's a Bulky Boys Bike Club, there's a Save Old Bikes, and there's a proper crusty, which is not crusty in the slightest, is it really? Very nice. All of these available on the Save Old Bikes store, and you can get them there, plus some other exciting things as well. At the bottom of the page there's a little bit about this tab conversions as well, which I'll talk a bit more about at the end of the video. Okay, listen up, I'm about to do something crazy. This is a brake lever that accepts 2 cables. So we use one lever to do the front and back brake at the same time. I mean, what could go wrong? Right? So I was talking to Chris over at Cadence Cycle Works over on Instagram, and I think it was for his pub bike build. He used this lever so that essentially you can ride along the road drinking a beer in one hand and being able to safely stop with the other hand. There's another thing on this bike that he gave me the idea for, but we've not got there yet, so we'll talk about that in a minute. These nuke-proof grips were £2, I think, on Chain Reaction when they went down the toilet for robbing Haribo of money. If you're going to match cable outers to a bike, I always suggest using the logo that's on the frame to match as far as colour wise. So we're going white, and I think it looks really, really good. The cabling routing around this rack really annoyed me. I thought it was going to be absolutely fine, and then I ended up changing it several times before I found a way to fit it nicely. But once I finally got it, I was super happy because well, it looks nice now. I think these nuke-proof grips look really, really nice. I've used them in a couple of builds now. I think if they were any more than £2, I probably wouldn't love them so much, but because they're so cheap and I've got a bunch of them, I think they look really good. So that's interesting, I guess. And then the very last thing was the saddle itself. I wanted to put this SC Bikes saddle on because it has a bottle opener on the back and it's very comfortable. But long story short, it doesn't fit on these brackets, the bracket that lets you put a seat on a seat pin instead of a post. It didn't work, to the point that I over tightened it and this happened. Oh no! Oh no. Sometimes I just don't even know my own strength, you know? But anyway, long story short, it doesn't fit this saddle, the bars are weird, the rails, whatever, so I do change it for a charged spoon, which you will see in the final cuts in a moment. But it did need something else. This was also suggested to me by Chris from Cadence Cycle Works. Essentially it's a bottle holder but for cans. So it's a can holder essentially, but I wanted one that matched the purple and the blue. So I spoke to Pierre, or Bike Felix, over on Instagram, because he had a 3D printer. So he actually made this one for me. So thank you very much, Pierre. But that's it. We've finally finished another bike. I suppose it's time to look at it. So I'm crazy happy with the way this turned out. It is so much nicer than I expected. I expected it to be well clunky, but it's not. It's really, really good. But I know the question that people are going to have the most of, what's that brake like and can you skid with it? So no, not really, but it works very well. It stops you way better than I thought it was going to. If you pull it really hard, you do go forward a little bit into an endo, but it's fine. Whoa, my phone fell out the mount. And that's that, we've got ourselves a new bike. And this one is a pretty special one because I expected it to be a crusty bag of bones that you kind of rattled around town. But it ended up being one of the most comfy bikes I've built in a while. The only problem I need to do is replace that bottom bracket. I've ordered one, it should be here in a few days, and then that chain line will be perfect then. At the moment it just skips slightly when you put too much power into it, which is fine. It just needs a little bit of a realignment and then it'll be tip top. As usual, I finished it and now I kind of want to keep it, but this one needs to be sold. I have a big project coming that I'm building for someone that I can't say much more than that because it's a massive surprise, it's a big deal and it's very fun and exciting, but we're this close to getting all the parts we need and we need some more funds, so I need to sell it for that. Very cryptic, I know, I can't say end of basically, but I will be posting it up on Instagram. If you are interested in this bike and you're in London, because I don't really want to post it anywhere, do let me know in the comments, or like I say, send me a message on Instagram, but I'll probably post it over the next couple of days on there up for sale and see if anybody's interested really. Probably put it on Facebook Marketplace as well. Another big update is around the disc brake conversions. Everybody's been asking about it. Everybody's also been asking Stayer about it. It is now available on the website. If you go to saveoldbikes.com, go past the lovely stickers, and then just below that there'll be a section all about disc brake conversions. All the details are there. Essentially all you need to do is purchase it through the website. Then when you've purchased it, you can then send the frame to the address that's in the listing. You can send it any way you want, with whoever you want, but I do suggest you use tracking just so you can keep an eye on it. But all the details around that are in the listing itself. I'm only going to have this open for maybe a week or so. Once we have all the frames, I will close it. We will do the work on the frames and now dispatch them all out together at one time. So it will take a few weeks to kind of get it all sorted. And after we've done this a couple of times, we'll probably be able to iron it out and make it a smoother process. So if you are the first person to do it, I will probably chuck some stickers in and stuff like that to say thank you for being part of our first go. Yeah, more information on the website, go and check it out. If you do have more questions, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll try and explain a bit more there as well. I think that covers that. But that's the end of the video. If you are new to the channel because of this build, we actually do quite a lot of builds. We've been the first one for a little while, but over here is the subscribe button. It's completely free and it helps me out a lot. And if you can't wait until next week's video, which is weekly occurrence, that one there is a particularly good one.